So let me ask you, why were you so upset with him?
Because they continually lied. Listen, how many times did he get in a helicopter and say, we flew over and there's no oil? And I said, well, come down here and let me dip your head in that no oil and tell me what that is.
We begin with the breaking news. Those images coming in from the Gulf of Mexico tonight, a deadly blast. As an oil platform explodes offshore, workers jumping into the Gulf to save their lives.
It's the worst environmental disaster in U.S. history.
Live video of the oil spill that's happening right now.
And the oil is this thick, I mean, it's like a thick chocolate syrup that you just scoop, and the smell, I mean, it's crude, heavy crude oil, and it coats the marshes, it coats the reeds out there.
This had the impact to displace generational activities.
We're not stupid. You're putting oil on the bottom of our fishing rod. You're not only messing me up now, you're messing me up for the rest of my life.
Plaquemines Parish is that community made up of oil and gas, fishermen, people that lived here for generations. There's something special about the soil under the people's feet in this parish. I don't know what it is, but they keep coming back. Me and my wife retired here in Plaquemines Parish. We built a ranch here, raised elk, cattle, and had a therapeutic riding facility for special needs children and adults. The greatest thing I've ever done with my life is helping those people.
I met Billy Nungesser when we were both running for office in the mid-90s. My impression of Billy was he didn't like to take an answer that he didn't want to hear very well.
What's up, Rock?
Good, man.
Good to see you. Did you get one of those for your daddy?
No, I didn't.
You need to do that.
I'm Billy Nungesser, and I was the parish president of Plaquemines Parish during the oil spill. This was the greatest environmental disaster that this country had ever seen.
This really was a David and Goliath type event. Goliath being the entire BP oil industry, the federal government, 210 million gallons of oil washing up on Louisiana shores. But that Goliath was met by the David of the leadership of Billy Nungesser and the heart and soul of the people of Louisiana.
My dad used to say, as long as you go to bed every night and know you did all you can to do the right thing, you can do no wrong. And every day I got up and tried to do all I could for our parish, our state, to protect the people and their livelihood.
I smell the oil pretty regularly. I can't even sit on my porch. I can't breathe. I have headaches. I have sore throats.
We have young, willing men to go to work. They unemployed now.
Somebody's lying. It's not me.
That anger grew out of being lied to, misled, and it was frustrating.
What is causing that if it's not the oil or the Caressa?
So it took many, many nights on TV to finally get the attention of the White House and have some things change.
He was dedicated, he was committed, and he was passionate about what he was going to convey.
I felt I had no choice but to get out there and yell and scream till somebody listened.
He found the voice.
Enough is enough. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm here today to beg them. Absolutely embarrassing and disgusting.
Where was the federal wildlife fishing for the last 50 years?
Anyone watching news coverage of the oil spill has seen him on TV.
Get the hell out the way and let us go do it ourselves.
No one has been more outspoken than Billy Nungesser.
How are they going to pay their bills next month? The fishermen, the haulers, the seafood companies, the dock owners, the little lady that sells it on the corner.
Shouldn't take the president coming down here.
I want to be on the same team.
There was no plan.
His concern quickly turning to anger.
Something's wrong with this picture, and we're going to pay for many years.
We've got to see some sense of urgency.
Because this is absolutely mismanagement,
There's no organization in place.
and it's got to change.
We now begin with the way Louisiana is trying to stop the advance of oil into their marshes. Barrier Island sand berms.
Sand berm.
Sand berms.
Sand berm, giant 6-foot-high walls of sand.
A sand berm is a structure that is basically a beach in the middle of a lake.
The berm idea was pushed by Plaquemines Parish President Billy Nungesser as a major defense mechanism for the coastline to protect it from oil.
Joining me this morning, the man leading the massive federal response, Coast Guard Admiral Thad Allen.
Thad Allen.
Thad Allen.
Admiral Thad Allen was the commander in charge of the BP oil spill, appointed directly by the White House.
As you know, Louisiana has been raised questions and been critical of the federal response. Today, specifically, he was talking about the need for permission to build sand barriers. What's your response there?
I understand the idea. I understand how they perceive the effectiveness of these berms would be against stopping the oil. But we also understand that it'll take 6 to 9 months, maybe a year, to build some of these.
It's not clear to you whether or how realistic it is to build such barriers at this point.
That's correct.
Why was Thad Allen not working with us instead of working against us? And to this day, I can't tell you why.
Well, everybody feels very strongly about this. Everybody's frustrated, and some people are even, just completely frustrated beyond, consolability.
You know what? Thad Allen's going to BP school on how to deny. He's in denial.
I don't think Admiral Allen's ever built a Barrier Island. Hoping you do what you're supposed to do, and you haven't done it. So kiss my...
President Obama plans to visit Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, to take suggestions from local leaders. Surprisingly, outspoken parish president Billy Nungesser has not been invited to attend.
So I had been a little critical of the response on TV, so I wasn't invited to the second meeting with the president in Grand Isle. So myself and President Craig Tefera from St. Bernard, I said, we've got to get to the president. Come on, we're going to take a boat. I figured we could sneak in backside of Grand Isle.
Billy instructed me, meet me. We're going to get on a boat and we're going to try to get to the meeting.
When we got to the gate, the lady said, y'all are not on the invitation list.
I said we weren't on the list.
You're not on the invite list. And Billy used a great line.
I said, well, call the White House and tell them I'm here and I'm on the other line with Anderson Cooper and see if they can put us on the list.
A few minutes later, we were waved through.
President's staff said to let you in.
The look on President Obama's face when he walked into the meeting and saw that Billy Nungesser was at the meeting, it changed the entire tone. And he winds up positioning himself not only in the meeting, but he's like within 2 people from the President of the United States.
Now, the president says, Billy, I thought we were on the same page.
I said, well, your team made the decision in Washington not to build the berms.
So he said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Billy. In the next 2 to 3 days, I'm going to send my staff back down, and you've got to convince them it's the right thing to do.
Then when he got to the door to leave, he looked back and said, now, Billy, we're okay. I said, yeah, Mr. President. He said, well, do me a favor, call me before you call Anderson Cooper. So, Mr. President, I don't have your phone number. Give Billy my number to the White House.
We had the conference at the Port of New Orleans.
And at that meeting, I called him out. Said the president wants a yes or a no.
Get a remarkable presentation of the berms. And at the end, I asked the other 4 panelists that now were sitting in the front row, I said,
if it was your backyard and the oil was coming into your community, would you do everything fit? Would you build the berms?
And I said it 3 times and they didn't answer. I said, all right, let's make this easy. If you're against the berms, raise your hand. Nobody raised their hand. I said, you got to go back to the president and said, everybody's in favor of it. 23 hours and 43 minutes later.
23 hours and 45 minutes after that
someone came up and whispered to the governor that the president just called. The president called and approved building the berms and approved the berms.
And so you see the dredges at work there. What they're literally doing is creating earth. You're actually building the sand berm that's going to block the oil coming in from the Gulf of Mexico and going into the very fragile coastline.
As parish president to protect the people that elected me here to do a job. The hurricanes, the oil spill, the 2016 floods, this virus, what else can you throw at Louisiana? If anybody can recover from anything, this state can.